So let me tell you about the time my best friend completely betrayed me and stole the guy I liked right from under my nose. I was 15, sophomore year. Life was already messy enough between divorced parents, mountains of homework, and trying to figure out who my real friends were. At the time, I had this huge crush on a guy named Brandon. He wasn't like the typical popular boys, he was more low-key, kind of funny, played basketball, and he had that smile that literally made my stomach flip every time I saw him. I swear, every girl in school noticed him, but in my head, he was mine. And the person I trusted the most with my little secret was my best friend, Kayla. We'd been friends since middle school, and she knew everything about me. I told her about Brandon, how I wanted him to notice me, how nervous I got when he was around. She even helped me write out texts to him sometimes. I thought she was supporting me. Spoiler alert, she wasn't. Now here's where the red flag started. Every time I brought up Brandon, Kayla would change the subject. Or she'd say stuff like, "Are you sure you really like him?" Or, "I don't think he's even your type." At first, I brushed it off, I thought she was just being a protective friend. But then little things started adding up. Like one time at lunch, Brandon came over to borrow a pen, and Kayla jumped up like she was the star of the show, giggling, handing him hers before I even opened my mouth. Another time, I caught her smiling a little too hard when he made a joke. And when I told her I was thinking of asking him to hang out, she straight up said, "Don't. You'll just embarrass yourself." That one stung, but again, I thought maybe she was just being honest. Looking back, she was just trying to keep me away from him. Then came the day everything changed. I woke up with the worst headache, and my mom told me to stay home from school. I hated missing days because I always felt like I'd come back and the entire social universe shifted without me. So of course, I was texting both Brandon and Kayla throughout the day. Or, at least trying to. But neither of them answered me. Not a single text. That was weird. Kayla always texted back instantly. Brandon too, even if it was just a one-word reply. By the time school ended, I had this pit in my stomach. Something just felt off. I figured maybe Kayla was busy or Brandon had practice. But when the whole evening went by without a single reply, I knew something wasn't right. The next morning, I dragged myself to school still feeling off. And that's when I noticed it, Brandon and Kayla walking in together. Laughing. Whispering. Way too close. My heart literally sank. I told myself, no, you're overthinking, maybe they just bumped into each other. But then in history class, my worst fear came true. One of the girls sitting behind me leaned forward and whispered, "So, how do you feel about Kayla and Brandon?" I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. She smirked and said, "Oh, you didn't know? They were together yesterday. Everyone saw them." I wanted to crawl under my desk. After class, I cornered Kayla and asked her straight up if she was hanging out with Brandon. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "We're just friends. Stop being paranoid." Something about the way she said it didn't sit right. And I knew she was lying. That night, I couldn't shake the feeling. So the next day at lunch, when Kayla left her phone on the table to grab food, I did something I probably shouldn't have, but I don't regret it. I opened her phone and went straight to her messages with Brandon. And there it was. Pages and pages of texts. Flirting. Late night goodnights. Inside jokes. He was calling her cutie. She was sending him selfies. And the one that destroyed me? Brandon, I like you way more than her. I felt like my chest caved in. I dropped her phone back on the table and walked out of the cafeteria before she even came back. My world flipped upside down in that moment. Not only was my crush basically dating my best friend, but she had been lying to me the whole time. Later that day, I pulled her aside. I didn't even yell. I just looked at her and said, "How long have you been sneaking around with Brandon?" At first, she played dumb. Then when I told her I saw the messages, her face changed. She crossed her arms and said, "Well, maybe if you weren't so obsessed with him, he wouldn't have come to me instead." That was it. I lost it. I told her she was fake, she was never my friend, and she was jealous of me from the start. She rolled her eyes like I was the problem. And then she had the nerve to say, "You were never gonna get him anyway." It took everything in me not to completely snap right there in the hallway. But instead, I walked away. Because honestly, losing both of them at once hurt, but keeping her around would have hurt even worse. After that, I cut both of them off. Brandon tried to text me saying, "It just happened, I didn't mean to hurt you." Please. People don't just accidentally send flirty texts for weeks. And Kayla? She didn't even apologize. She told people I was being dramatic, which just showed her true colors even more. It took me a while to get over it, but honestly, I'm glad I found out when I did. Because imagine me still being friends with her while she was sneaking behind my back the whole time. Now, whenever someone shows me a little too much concern about who I like, I remember this: sometimes your biggest hater is the one sitting right next to you.